Good morning. I am Lakshya Raval and I study in DPS Jaipur. Today we, some students of class 8E, are going to explain you the poem Daffodils, written by William Wordsworth, which has been taught to us by our English teacher. Let's start with the summary. In this poem, Wordsworth tells us about his memory in which he saw the daffodils. The poet witnessed the memory of the daffodils when he was sitting idly. He saw the flowers smiling and dancing. This view gave him joy and a cheerful company of flowers. He says that he has saved some of these memories in his mind so that he can achieve this pleasure again by remembering them. Now, let's start the poem. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. So friends, before I explain you the first stanza, let's quickly go through the word meanings. In the first stanza, the word vales means valley and host means a large number or a big group. Okay friends, let me explain you the first stanza. So basically, the first stanza refers to him being roaming around without any purpose. He was all alone like a cloud that floats high in the valley. While roaming in the valley, he suddenly sees a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. The poet calls daffodils golden rather than yellow in order to express their majesty and beauty. According to the poet, he sees a large number of daffodils beside the lake, beneath the trees, that is, along with the shores of lake, and below the trees because they are small, and the daffodils seem to be fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Now, Yuvraj Sahu will explain the second stanza.
Thank you, Lakshya. Now, I am going to explain to you the second stanza of the poem Daffodils. First, have a look to the word meanings. Bay means a lake, sprightly, a lively dance. Now, the explanation of the second stanza. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. The poet is comparing the daffodils with the stars. As the stars shine in the Milky Way, like that the daffodils are also shining in the day. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. The poet compared daffodils to the stars in the galaxy because they were stretched in a straight line and appeared just like the stars in the sky. The daffodils were golden in color and they are waving in the breeze. Seem like the stars are shining and twinkling. 10,000 saw at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. When I saw them, they were numerous, 10,000, and their heads are moving in the breeze. The poetic device used in this line, tossing their heads in sprightly dance, is personification. Thank you. Now, Ananya Gupta will explain the third stanza.
Thank you, Yuvraj, for the explanation of stanza 2. Now I would like to start with the explanation of stanza 3, but before that, I'm going to tell you difficult word meanings. Outdid, outshine, sparkling, which means to shine, glee, high-spirited, gay, jovial, jocund, cheerful, gaze, which means to stare, wealth, happiness. Now I'm going to explain stanza 3. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. By these lines, the poet wishes to say that the waves of the lake accompanied him dancing along these daffodils, but their lustrous dance was no way comparable to the delight of these flowers. The poet says that he could not help himself but to be gay in such a jocund, by which he means in such a cheerful company. The poet stared and stared, and a little thought struck into his mind that what wealth, by which he means what happiness, has a show brought to him. This clearly tells that the poet was not only contented but also comforted by these daffodils. Now I would like to hand over the stanza 4 to Liesha Parmar. Thank you.
Ananya. Now, before I begin with the stanza of the poem Daffodils written by Mr. William Wordsworth, I would like to explain the meanings of difficult words. Of, often, pencil, thinking deeply about something, and solitude, the state of being alone, especially when you enjoy. Now, I will begin with the stanza. For oft when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood. In this line, the poet says that whenever he lies on his couch, alone or in deep thoughts, they flash upon that inward eye which is the bliss of solitude. In this line, they refers to daffodils. So the daffodils step into the poet's mind, in his imagination, and make his mind peaceful and happy. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils. In this line, the poet says that his heart and mind fill with pleasure and happiness and dances with the daffodils, which means he becomes cheerful. That is the end of the poem. Now I would like to hand over to Devansh for the poetic devices of the poem.
Thanks, Liesha. So, after listening to my friends, now I will talk about the poetic devices used in the poem. They are first, simile, direct comparison between two things, using like or as. I wandered lonely as a cloud. Here, poet compared himself to a cloud, using as. Second, alliteration, repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning or in stressed syllables of nearby words. Besides the lake beneath the trees. Third, metaphor, comparison of two things. What wealth that shows to me had brought. Fourth, onomatopoeia. The sound of the words convey the sense, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Fifth, imagery. Imagery means to use figurative language to represent objects, actions, and ideas in such a way that it appeals to our physical senses. The poet has used the images appealing to the sense of sight, such as lonely as a cloud, a crowd, never-ending line, Milky Way, and jocund company. The use of imagery makes the reader visualize the writer's feelings and emotions. Sixth, hyperbole, exaggeration of ideas for the sake of emphasis. 10,000 saw I at a glance. Seventh, personification, attributing human qualities to non-human objects, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The rhyme of the poem is as follows: A B A B C C. Hope you all must have understood and enjoyed the poem. Thank you.